Hey, another today's fun project here. It's pretty much cold as balls outside, so we're going to shoot this inside here today. What I'm going to be working on is an '05 Acura MDX, and the symptom is a large or loud groan whine sound in the power steering. So when cold start up, the wheels are turned left or right, there's a groaning sound, a whining sound. You can even hear it inside the cabin, which is not normal. So what's happening, there's veins around that rotor pump, and when they vibrate due to air being in the system, then they'll chatter and make noise, and that's what you're hearing. Now a slight groan turning left to right when you're outside the car, hearing that is normal. But if it's really loud, like let's say the pig squeal like a pig in the woods scene in the movie Deliverance, you can YouTube that. Anyhow, that's not normal. So anyway, you can look that up. But what we're going to do is check it out. It's my buddy's vehicle. He was told that he would need a new power steering pump and a new, I don't know if it was a low or high pressure line. There's a low pressure and a high pressure side. And a lot of times I fix these things on many different makes and models with just new O-rings, because basically what's happening, it's usually on the low side, air gets sucked in and it cavitates in with the fluid, and that trapped air causes the vanes to vibrate, making a noise. So basically, let's see if we can fix it with that issue. The way I do it is I take it apart, I look at the O-rings. If I see they're crushed or kind of flat, they should be rounded, and they're also sort of brittle, they get hard, and that allows the air to leak in. So let's see what happens with that. And sorry I didn't get footage on the noisy squeal. I lost the footage here on the camera, but you can go back to that Deliverance movie. So anyway, and then later at the end here, I got some mail from my buddy Steve Robb at Steve Robb Reviews. Appreciate it. We'll take a peek at that, see what's going on, and let's get to the video. Here's the power steering unit, or pump anyway. This sends pressure down to the rack and pinion. You've got a high pressure line and a low pressure line. And this low pressure tends to leak. It's not saying that this one won't, but allow air in, but won't really allow fluid to flow out. So that's probably most likely going to be the issue here. And this is held in with one 10mm bolt. So I'll remove that, replace that O-ring. And then we'll take these two 10mm bolts, I'll replace this O-ring. Let me give you those part numbers. That would be this one for the high pressure. So see the color of that. And then over here we've got the low pressure. There's a part number for that one, as you can see. And I'll flip that over. And this one's black. So if you compare them, the black one is a little bit larger than this red one. And I think this is made of a different material. But anyhow, here's the fluid reservoir. So what we need to do is, you can kind of see, let me get a light where it's been flowing over. It's been foaming over with the air that's building up inside there. So the air bubbles cavitate the fluid and it foams. We're going to basically remove this lower hose and drain this fluid reservoir. Here's the hose here, point to it. So there's just a clamp there. I'll take this off and allow that to drain out, and then we'll fill that with fresh fluid. After we remove these two lines, I've got some brake clean. We'll clean all this up, get that nice and clean, remove it, put new O-rings on, and then we'll refill the fluid after we drain it. And I always use Honda fluid when I'm doing Acura Honda stuff. I use their OEM. There it is right there. It's not too expensive. It comes in 12 fluid ounce bottles. So we'll top it off with the good stuff. I'm going to start by removing the clamp on this low pressure line here. Just squeeze that off, and we'll take this line right here off, just to make that a little bit easier to remove. This might be a little stiff, so there we go. Okay, got some fluid spillage. We'll clean that up. No biggie. Alright, it's pretty tight, but I've got a 10mm wrench, and I'm getting back here. Once I get it off, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So I got that bolt loose down there, that 10mm bolt, cracked it loose. And now I'm just going to get it out by hand. It's pretty tight in here. You could take the belt off and give yourself a little more room, but I don't have time for that. There we go. Got this little guy right here. Now you guys can't even see it. So here's the bolt here. Put that over here. All right, now what we'll do is put a towel under here, some paper towels, because I expect some fluid leak loss. So I'm shoving some paper towels under this. Shouldn't be too bad, but you know, enough. So that's good. Okay, so here's the fitting. We're going to remove it now. Got that bolt out. Let me just wiggle this. We're going to lose a little bit of fluid. It's already dripping out onto that paper towel. So that's the fitting right there. And the O-ring is actually inside the power steering pump. Let me set this aside so this doesn't drip anywhere important. All right, so I got a small pick, and I'm just starting to get this O-ring out. You can see it right down in here. It's black. This is the black one. So I'm going to pop that out. And we're going to take a closer look at this. All right, so what I'm doing now is removing these two top 10mm bolts. The two top 10mm bolts loose. Got this one and this one, they're the same length. Set that over here. And now let's go ahead and remove this line here. Should just wiggle it off here a little bit. There we go. Not too much spillage. And there's the O-ring on that one, which is all flattened out. You can see it right there, right here. So we'll replace that guy too. I think I missed, if I did mention it in the video, I might have got the O-rings backwards in size and part number. So that's the orange one there, and a red one, whatever you want to call it. So you can see that's the same diameter. And here's off the high pressure. So the new one's on top. And I'm not sure if you guys can see or not, but this one here, the old one, is like flat and squared off. It's still a little bit pliable, but here's the big problem. This one here on that intake is very brittle. It's not too compliant, and it's flattened off, whereas the new one is much more, you know, springy, rubbery. So the top O-ring on first. So you probably can't see a thing I'm doing, but trust me, it's simple enough. Just roll that O-ring right on. Be careful not to tear it or rip it or drop it. I want to just wipe down the surface here. And there's oil on the, or fluid is on the O-ring, so it should slip in okay. I don't want it to tear or rip as I slip, you know, gently seat it, wiggle it. I like to twist it a little bit when I put this stuff in so that the ring doesn't tear. So that's down. That's all the way down. Nice. I'll get the two bolts in now, and then we'll get that bottom one in. All right, I'm gonna snug these up now. That's good. That's good. Now I have the O-ring on here, already on our piece, and I've got some fluid on there to lube it in, to get it in there. And let me pull out my paper towel here, get that out of the way. That's saturated with fluid. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to gently drop the goddamn thing on the ground. All right, let's try this again. So I've got the hose connector here, and I'm going to gently twist that in till it seats. And once it bottoms out, I'll get that 10mm bolt back in there. All right, it's a little tricky, but you got to work this bolt in there. And hopefully you don't drop it. And hopefully I won't drop it. All right, I got it started, and you got to use the two-finger magic. If anybody knows what the two-finger cul-de-sac trick is, use that technique. All right, we'll slide the clamp on. I like to put it back in the same spot it came off in, which was right about there, like that. That's on good and tight. And now I'm going to, there's that hose right there. I'm going to disconnect that, drain this reservoir out, and put some fresh fluid in. We'll fire it up. It'll probably squeal for a minute. Turn the steering wheel a little bit left to right. That'll bleed the air out, and it should be good to go. Well, here's the nasty stuff I drained out of there. It smells a little bit burnt, and it's pretty dark, so the new stuff will go in. I think it's a lot cleaner than that. All right, let me pour this stuff in. It's a little lighter than honey as far as color. I'm gonna pour it to the max line. There's two lines on that reservoir. There's the lower and the upper. So I'm gonna pour it to the upper. And once that's in, then we'll start it up. Once we start it up and bleed off the air, we'll check the level. Now, of course, when it's hot, it's going to be a little bit higher than when it's cold. Everything looks good here so far. The fluid's good. It's down at the lower mark. So what I'll do is I'll shut it off. I'm going to check the level. I could probably get you in on that. Let's see. There you go. Bring you in here. We don't do any half-ass videos. You can see it. Maybe you can see it. I'm going to try to not get hung up in the fan belt here, or serpentine belt. So right down here, you can see the fluid. It's at the lower mark. I'll stop it, top it off there, get it to the upper. So it looks good. I don't see anything leaking out. That's a little bit of brake clean up there, just drying off. So we got the repair done yesterday, and I parked the car outside last night. We got snow, so the best way to test this thing is in the cold conditions. So usually you're going to hear the whining when the power steering pump's really cold and everything's shrunk down. Those O-rings are tight, and when they heat up, they tend to swell a little bit so that you don't get the air intake. So let's do a cold start right now, and we'll try it out. It's about 30 degrees, so hopefully it won't whine. Alright, so far so good. I'm going to turn the wheels now. Turning all the way to the right. Silent. All the way to the left. Alright, that's great. Let's get back inside where it's a little bit warmer. Well, that one's all fixed up. You know, 2 O-rings and some fluid. We got it done. It didn't really take too long. My buddy Ben, who owns the car, was told he was going to need a new power steering pump and a new power steering line. I'm not sure which line. All I can tell you is I know they both would have been pretty expensive. And yeah, they do have a point. You replace the power steering pump, that noise would have went away, but that's not how we roll around here. So I hope that helped you guys out. The rotor spins. There's vanes in that rotor, and when air gets in there, it's going to cause that whine noise, and basically that's what it is. As long as you still have good feel in the power steering, you should be okay. Obviously, if you have a leak, you're going to have to fix that, but that wasn't the case here. So anyway, thanks for watching. Add me on Instagram. It's Ozzstar1. I'll leave the link in the description below. Facebook, Ozzstar. And what else can I tell you? Oh, coming up, hopefully the video I have to edit on that particular vehicle about 6-8 months ago had a check engine light on. It was, I believe it was a P0175 and a P0172. Man, that was a tough one. I think I lost about a year of my life just trying to diagnose it. Not as far as time, but as stress, man, it was something. I actually wound up replacing it, or repairing it, not replacing anything. My point is no parts changing necessary to get that check engine light off. And hopefully I'll get to that video for you. Anyway, thanks for joining along, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. And make sure chaos stays away. Take it easy.
Hey YouTube, Ozzstar's working on a project in the garage right now. He's actually working on a clutch. But today we have a package from Steve Robb, so I'm gonna open it right now. It's beef jerky. It came in a sealed bag. Here it is. So let's just open it. Smells really good. I have some milk here just in case it's super hot, but it smells really good. Let me just move this out the way. Alright, so here's what it looks like out of the package. It's kind of small, don't know if you can see that, but let's just take a chomp out of it. Oh man, is that good! It's got a little bit of kick to it, but it's not the spiciest thing in the world, but it's still really good. Very smoky. If you're into like ribs and stuff like that, this is good for you. Steve Robb, you did a good job. Shh, don't tell Ozzstar I was eating his beef jerky. See ya! Oh my god, this is hot.
Are you gonna eat it again?
I'll eat again. Yeah, that was good.
Try a little tiny piece.
You try a piece.
It's got a good smoke flavor. It's good.
It is good.